So I thought with the game complete, it might be fun to go back and take another look at a few elements of it now that I've got a bit of hindsight and done a little research and talked to some friends about the various choices I made. And the first thing that cropped up naturally was Ashley. In this scene, Ashley can clearly hear Jessica screaming for help in the distance. We know that Jessica is trapped down in the mines. That is, we as the player know that she is. And it seems like the obvious choice here is to open this hatch in the ground and release Jessica. And of course, if you've watched my playthrough, you know what happens when you attempt to do that. Now, when I was playing through, I thought this was grossly unfair. It seemed totally arbitrary, like a coin flip or something. Opening the hatch seemed like the natural choice, and you're just punished for it. And I couldn't think of any reason how you could predict that. So, I went back through all of my footage and all of my gameplay and tried to find an explanation for this.
This guy's a little OCD.
And basically, I found this.
This says that because the Wendigos are mutated from humans, when they hunt us, they know how to perfectly mimic their prey.
So it's not really a sufficient clue to help you realise what's going on in that cave situation, I don't think. But it does at least offer some explanation as to what happened there. Presumably the Wendigo is mimicking Jessica's voice. If that's not what they intended, then it is completely random and therefore totally unfair. We may never know what the true logic behind that scenario was, but I thought it was interesting enough to warrant some discussion. Now, this was the next character death I encountered, and to be honest, this one was entirely my fault. I wasn't really considering the fact that Jessica was injured. I panicked making the decision. Obviously, I should have hidden, knowing what I know about Wendigo, and knowing that she was going to have difficulty running. So, that one's on me. Good game Until Dawn, you got me. So, now we come to the grand finale, and boy oh boy is this confusing. So, first things first, all the characters are in the same room together with a bunch of Wendigo, this we know. Now, the Wendigo are somewhat distracted by the Friendigo, yes, that's what I'm calling her, the Friendigo, and it sets up this little situation here where you've got a gas leak, you've got presumably various means of triggering it, because we had flashbacks to the lighter earlier, and now we see the lamp on the wall as well. So we get the string of visual cues, we've got the gas, we've got Mike here looking at Sam, and at the light switch. Sam seems to get the idea, so we're all clued in. We're gonna blow shit up. Now, after a whole bunch of faffing about with this whole don't move minigame thing, Mike goes and breaks the light bulb, and apparently something happening here causes enough of a distraction that Chris is able to sneak out the back door. This is important. We're then presented with these two options, which might just be the dumbest decision the game makes you take. What could you possibly do to save Mike? Choosing that option makes no sense. Running for the light switch is the obvious choice. You and Mike have already agreed that. And yet this happens. At no time during this entire sequence of gameplay is Emily visible. One would assume that she would have slipped out in the same way that Chris did, and one would also assume that Mike would run at the same time as Sam. Why wouldn't he? Sam is able to outrun the Wendigo the few feet to the light switch. Why can't Mike do it? I found this the most irritating decision you have to make in the entire game, because you don't have any of the information required to make an informed decision about what to do. You don't know where the other characters are positioned, you don't know what, quote, help Mike is actually going to make your character do. It's all just totally random. Now, it's a shame the game ended with that decision, because up until that point, almost everything you could actually think your way out of a situation, use logic, apply it, and succeed. But right there at the end, it all kind of falls flat with that extremely arbitrary decision. However, I still did enjoy the game, much more than Heavy Rain in fact. Heavy Rain really struggled because the button inputs on the screen didn't actually tell you what they were meant to do, and so you quite often found yourself performing the wrong action even though you knew what the right course of action was. This game was much better in cluing you in as to what your buttons were actually going to achieve, except in that final scene. So for the most part, I think it's a superior game. Yes, Heavy Rain had this wonderful film noir style and clever scripting, but all of that was ruined by the controls, frankly. Simpler game here in many ways, but the controls worked. And for that reason, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than Heavy Rain. Now, if you stuck with me this far, then a big thank you to you. A like on the video is always nice. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because that's really tacky. You do what you want. But thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it.